Happy Monday. Tonight we are talking about accountability versus responsibility. Some of you carry way too much, some of you avoid it at all costs. We're going to talk about both sides, about what to do. And, if you apologize for things that aren't yours, or if you avoid responsibility or get defensive about what maybe you did do to somebody else, we're going to talk about that and why that might be and what we do about it. So it's not about being perfect, but it's about knowing what is ours and leaving the rest. Madeline! Hello, lovely. Lima, hello, lovely. Welcome in, welcome in. We'll get started in just a few minutes. Can you guys hear me? Aww. Oh, Madeline? Yeah, this is going to be a good conversation. Hi, Madeline. Thanks for sharing it out and letting her know. Hold on one second, you guys. Okay. Happy Monday. Welcome in everybody. Tonight we are talking about accountability versus responsibility. That's a huge one, right? And so, because part of it is sitting in it. Part of it is sitting in the feeling and having a safe place. And this is what I help women do, because I walk alongside them, right? Because it's not just doing one thing. It's not just having one thing, right? It's going to take a lot of different things to get us where we want to go. But the main thing is having a safe place to feel, to pause, right? Because in this transition of going from one extreme of the pendulum, if you over apologize or if you avoid, right? We fall somewhere on that pendulum, that spectrum. Most of us fall on one side. Some people over and some people avoid. A safe person, because when I'm in my depression, a lot of people said I'm not. Meaning that you are looking for a safe person, or that's important to you. And for you asked about accountability, right? Accountability of what is ours. And we're going to talk about that tonight. Melissa, welcome in. We're going to talk about Corey, about how to know what is ours and what isn't, right? And especially so if you are somebody that avoids responsibility or accountability, then the work that you're doing is leaning into, right? Leaning into more of what is my responsibility. Some people on the other side are leaning out of what is their responsibility. Some people take on all of the emotional weight, and some people dip out from any of it, right? So knowing where you fall on that, and there is not one or the other that is right or wrong, that's good or bad. I just want to put that out there, that some look prettier to other people, but they're both the same. It's the same root core wound. It's just how we go about it is different. Okay. Mama, Hello. Welcome in, everybody. Corey, how are you? Yeah, there's a lot going on, right, Lima? Oh, I'm so glad. But one of the things that you said, Lima, was that the accountability, knowing, taking the accountability of what is ours, right? And we're going to talk about that because this can get really confusing for everybody on whatever side of the pendulum you fall on. When we're healing, it can look and feel awkward, uncomfortable, like we're doing it wrong, like what the fuck are we doing? Brady, what's up? Long time no see, man. Yeah, we're all still gonna spiral, Lima. It's not about never spiraling. It's about having a safe place to be held, a container, right? And then being able to sift through. Tara's in the house. What's up? What's up, Brady? Because I couldn't or can't hold myself accountable in those places. Right. And this is why I'm a firm believer of even, especially coaches and therapists should have a coach and a therapist, right? We all need somebody to help us see the parts that we're not able to see, because that's really hard to see our patterns sometimes. And this is where it comes in of having people that you can trust to hold up that mirror and to say, hey, maybe you should check this out in a loving way that you know that is for, because they care. They're not trying to like sideswipe you. Oh no. Is it Risa? Welcome in. Dang, Brady, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry, man. If you guys have questions about accountability or responsibility, throw them in the chat. Healing does hurt like hell. It's worth it, but it does hurt like hell. The atomic you. Yes, we don't sugarcoat shit here. It is a beautiful beast, right? Margaret, welcome in. You guys were talking about accountability versus responsibility. Oh, let me see if I can put that up there so that people know what the conversation is about. I don't know if it'll fit. Holy mac and cheese, it fit. Awesome. Okay. My nervous system is slowly recovering, but it's slow. Yeah, I hear you. Welcome to the club. You are in the right spot. We talk about the nervous system, and slowing down is super hard. And last week we talked about the pause and other ways. We talk a lot about how to love on our nervous system in a lot of different ways. Thanks for the follow. I appreciate you. Because it's not just one thing, right? It's not just about talking about what we went through. It's not just about journaling. It's not just about eating healthy. It's not just about one thing. It's all of these different modalities that are going to get us where we want to go. And having safe places to have hard conversations. That's what we're here about, is having tough conversations, because we hear a lot of the lingo, we hear a lot of the modalities, but what about how that affects us in our life, and what do those actually mean? Like, what does all of this mean? Right? So every week, 4 p.m. Pacific, we have conversations here. And we take it over to the Sacred Middle. It is a small women's group only. And we do a small coaching on this topic on Zoom. So there are seats for that. You can check out my link tree, but we go straight from here and we go over there, and then we dive a lot deeper into these topics and how they pertain to our specific life and what they mean to us and what we can do about them and our patterns. Oh no, you can stay here, Atomic. You're good here. TikTok's for everybody. I was just letting the ladies know that after this at 5 p.m. Pacific, we have a small women's group that meets. But you're cool here. Stick around. We would love for you to stick around. Because this healing journey definitely pertains to men as well. Yeah, it's a doozy. We have some amazing men that are on this journey. But it is tough. It is tough because there is a lot of misconceptions. There is more support now, but isn't a lot of support for men on this journey because society, first of all, if you look at it, society says don't feel, right? So, and what we're asking, or what this healing journey is asking of men, is to feel. And so that can be all kinds of messed up for men, right? And not just men, some women too. But for a majority of men, most men are asked to not feel, and that's what we're doing. And then it's so important to have support for that, right? Support in that. And a lot of people don't have safe people. Welcome in. It's your girl. It's your girl. Yes. Welcome in. Having safe people. And really that's why I started this account, was to create a safe place for people, because we're created for connection and we need safe people in our lives in order to gain some solid ground to go somewhere. So that's what we're here about, is offering a safe place, safe people to be on this journey and to feel, because we're going to feel all kinds of things. This journey is not about not feeling. It's not about never getting mad. It's not about never wanting people's throats or throat punch them or spiral. No, that's not real life. That's not where we are. It's about what we do when those things happen, or how can we create shifts so that those happen less, or we stay in them less time, right? That's real, because we're human and this is the human experience. So welcome in, everybody. Thanks for being here. Tonight we are talking about accountability versus responsibility, because some of y'all take way more responsibility. You try to hold the whole conversation, the whole situation, and then some of y'all dip out. Some of you are like, none of this is mine. So we're going to talk about it. No stress. We're good. We're good. Let's see. Where are my notes? 100% it's a trauma response. Some of us learn to cling to connection, or cling to pursue to stay safe, and some of us avoided connection at all costs to stay safe. So it just depends on how your nervous system chose to stay safe many, 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 many years ago. This is why here I'm not huge on labels, only for the fact that the root is the same. We're all trying to feel like we matter. We all want to be seen. We want to feel safe and loved and like we matter. So whatever side of the pendulum you fall on, if you want to use, avoidant and anxious attached, there's so many different ways that you could say that, right? You could say empath and narcissist, right? All these other sides of the spectrum that they're both the same core wound. It's just how we chose, or how our brain and our nervous system chose to stay safe looked very different. Does anybody have any questions before we get started? Thank you guys for being here. Hey, Kristen, thanks for the follow. I appreciate you. Welcome. If you're new here, this is awesome. Put a 1 in the chat so we can welcome you in. Thanks for being here. It's like a conversation. You guys can ask questions and say how you guys feel in the chat. And I'm just going to have a conversation with you guys and talk about things. You can agree or disagree. It's not about this is not, I'm telling you what you have to feel. It's just information, and then we go from there. So I am a therapeutic nutritionist. Basically, that just means that I do emotionally focused therapy coaching and holistic nutrition. I help people with their nervous system and working through trauma, things like that. And so I bring my professional and personal experience, because I don't just speak to you guys from this fucking platform. I live this, right? I go through the same things, I do the same shit, and I bring it here and talk to you guys about it. I'm having major accountability issues with planning and preparing meals. Okay, I love this. So I have amazing mods. We have Tara and we have Frosty, who's also my mama, and they got your back, they got my back. If we miss something, just let us know, because we are human, but they're amazing. So shout out to my mods. So accountability. The first thing that comes to my mind, Kristen, is not accountability. And let me know how this resonates with you, right? With planning and preparing meals. The first thing that comes up for me, and because I have experience with struggling with this type of thing, if your brain operates differently, you might need to find a way that works for you and your family. A lot of the times what we'll do is we'll find creators, or we'll find a system that looks pretty that we think that we should try, which is great. We should try all the things. But if they don't work for you and your life and your setup and your family, then it's not going to work. So, okay, I'll get back to that. So, that would be my first thing, to kind of like just challenge and take a different look at it, right? Are you trying to create a system that works for you and your family? Also, when we're doing something new, I'm all about baby steps. Okay, so it's like making a New Year's resolution. People will say, I want to lose 20 pounds by March. Okay, that's like 3 months. That means that you have to go hardcore. It's not easy, it's not fun, and it's not repeatable. Okay, and that's more like, that's how we can stay accountable to the habits that we want to make. Is it fun? Is it repeatable? Is it easy, so that we can do it over and over and over again, right? If we make the goal so big, we're just going to crash and burn, right? But if we can, and this is where a lot of people have a hard time, because they don't want a baby step. They want to go from A to B. But y'all, there is a lot of steps between A and B. I'm just going to say that, okay? You could break it down. So if you want to do meal prep, to accountability, right? Keeping that promise to yourself of, it sounded like you said that you want to eat healthier, right? So what is 1% difference that you could do, right? And this is what I help women do one-on-one. I work one-on-one with you. My jam is a 3-month container, because that really helps you be able to grasp what's going to work for you and create safety, and that one-on-one time to build to begin to build the whole life that you want, right? But just kind of throwing this out there is baby steps. What is one thing that you could do differently that you could repeat? Maybe that is when you are making or buying dinner, you get extra and you put that in the fridge for tomorrow. That's 1%, okay? It doesn't have to be that, but it's thinking outside of the box. We are so black and white thinking that we want to go from A to B instantly. And we break it down. At what point does taking responsibility become a performance designed to restore image rather than repair harm? And that's a huge question, okay? I'm going to read that again. At what point does taking responsibility become a performance designed to restore image rather than repair harm? The first thing that comes up for me is when we rush into it. When we try to fix it, we try to make the other person feel better instantly. We don't provide pause for ourselves or the other person because we have to fix it. We have to either fix it. We need them to be okay so that we can be okay, or we don't want them to see us as a bad guy. Maybe they'll leave us. Maybe they won't like us anymore. So taking time to pause, right? And we talked about this last week, but also before that, you have to recognize that something's even happening to you, right? So there's so many steps before this, but for the peeps that are already here is pause. What is happening to me, right? Why do I want to restore in this moment? Okay, say I hurt somebody's feelings and I'm like, I'm sorry. Let me make this right instantly, right? Because I don't want that person to leave me. I don't want to be disconnected from them. But what's happening in that is I'm not allowing time for myself to feel what I did. And I'm not allowing the other person to feel how it affected them. We're not sitting in it, right? And so we're trying to avoid sitting in it because sitting in it is uncomfortable. Thank you guys for your patience because I'm like 40 messages. I'm catching up. Yeah, Kristen, A to B constantly. That's because we're programmed for all or nothing. Yeah, we're programmed for all or nothing. And we're going to crash and burn almost every time. I was going to the gym for a long time. Well, then I took a break. Now I want to go. Now I go. Could you rephrase that? Please. Because life is finite and we age along the way. It feels like everything needs to happen quick. Yeah, the autonomic you. And also because we're programmed, right? We're programmed for instant results. If you think back as a kid, either you were told to go apologize right now or don't care about their feelings, right? So you have to think that these things have been happening, and these, for lack of better terms, these programs have been going on in our system forever. So they're automatic and everywhere is quick, right? We don't talk about sitting in the pause. I mean, we do here. We talked about it last week. Sitting in the pause before we try to repair, right? Because why? It's uncomfortable to know that somebody we care about is disappointed. Being okay with somebody not being okay. We were never taught that. And this world is so fast-paced. I say to myself, I want to go to the gym, but then I don't go and back out. My nervous system is burnt out. I cannot say this enough, is baby steps. I would say to you, if I was your coach, I would be like, Okay, let's do this. Create your gym bag. Do you even have a gym bag? Like, start baby steps, right? On this journey, people think baby steps, it can make us feel weak. They can feel like, oh, we're not doing anything. It can feel stupid and silly. Those are the little things that are going to get us where we fucking want to go. Okay? Because they're the in between A and B. We don't go from A to B. When you're building a muscle at the gym, you don't go from 10 pounds to 100 pounds, or why? You're gonna snap, you're gonna break something. You're gonna get hurt, you're gonna burn out, right? So it's the same thing. So I tell all of my clients to start smaller. Okay? I'm going to create a gym bag. Okay, I have my gym bag. I'm going to, in the morning, take my gym bag to the car. I'm not even going to go to the gym. Why? Because you are creating a new habit. Because there are so many fucking steps between you at home and you going to the gym. The hardest part is getting out of the house. Right? So there's so many steps. Welcome in, everybody. Is responsibility about intent or impact when the person genuinely doesn't perceive their behavior as harmful? I think it's both. And what I mean by that is that I can have great intentions and still hurt somebody's feelings, okay? When this comes up, right, I can acknowledge that this might have hurt somebody's feelings and provide space for that. That doesn't mean I have to say, yes, I messed up, right? Because if I genuinely feel like I didn't mess up, I don't have to own something that isn't mine, but I can provide space if I feel led, especially if I care about that person, to that it impacted them. That doesn't make me wrong, and that doesn't make them right or wrong, but again, it's this black or white, right? So if I said something and it hurt my son's feelings, okay? But I just told him to take out the trash. Like, I didn't do anything wrong per se, okay? And maybe my tone wasn't even wrong, but the way he took it, it hurt him. So we can have a conversation about it. And I can provide space for however he feels. Like, I hear you, dude. That hurt your feelings. Like, I'm here to hear about it. Right? We don't have to change something, and we don't have to own something, but we can provide space for how somebody else feels. So, does that make sense? Do you think it's a modern problem, or do you think humans have always had trouble with this? I think that's a good question. Well, I mean, the first thing that came up is this is going to be religious. I'm not religious. I'm spiritual, but I'm not religious. But the first thing that popped in my head was Adam and Eve, right? Responsibility, accountability. Like, if we're just going to go that route, okay, for shits and giggles, is that, story that Adam and Eve were in the garden, and Eve bit the apple and offered it to Adam, or Eve bit the apple and offered it to Adam, and Adam was like, but Eve made me do it, right? Eve offered it. So I would say that it's always been trouble, accountability versus responsibility. What would your response to people that would say that the baby steps is too slow? I would say, I feel you. I understand. It is slow, and it's going to feel opposite against your body, and it's going to feel stupid and silly. And yeah, are you down to give it a whirl? Are you down to try it? Because I bet you've tried it the other way for long enough, and have you gotten the results that you want? No, let's try something different. Like, right? I'm going to create oops. I'm gonna, okay, hold on. I'm reading two at the same time. When does responsibility for your choices turn into taking accountability? Oh my goodness. For someone else's behavior. When does responsibility for your choices turn into taking accountability for someone else's behavior? Let me know if this doesn't resonate, like if I'm not on the same page as you, Tara, let me know. Thank you guys for your patience. I got amazing fucking mods in here. They're pinning, they're staying with y'all. I am behind in the chat so that I can answer each question with intention. So thank you for the grace. If I might be a little late getting to your question. So when, oh, now I wish I could read it again, but this is where I believe the difference for accountability and responsibility. Okay, so accountability is asking, what did I do? What did I do? Oh, thank you. When does responsibility for your choices turn into accountability for someone else's behavior? Let me see if this answers that. If not, let me know. Accountability is, what did I do? What did I do in this situation, right? And then responsibility is asking, what is actually mine to hold? Okay, so when we take accountability for our choices and our behavior, that's on ours. Being able to see the difference, this is when we take responsibility for other people's actions, this is where we're abandoning ourselves. This is when you're overreaching with responsibility, right? Some of us overreach, some of us underreach. Okay, so this is where we're trying to take responsibility for the whole situation because that feels more in control and doable, and we don't have to sit in holding space for somebody else hurt us or what they did, right? Okay, so I'm going to try to say this a different way. When we're in an argument, right? Most of the time, sometimes we both do something that maybe we could have done differently, right? So it's knowing what is yours and what is not yours, first of all. And we don't have to take on what somebody else did to try to repair the situation faster, okay? And I believe that that's when we try to take responsibility that isn't ours, is when we're trying to make the situation go away or get out of the uncomfortable. Because one, it's uncomfortable and it's painful if somebody else doesn't take accountability for what they're responsible for, right? And what do we do with that? When somebody wrongs us and they don't take accountability and we're left with that, our bodies are like, we don't know what to do with that. So some people, over-responsible, they're like, well, I'm just going to take responsibility for all of it so that I can try to fix it and make it go away. I'm going to create a meal plan, go get groceries, cook, finish, goal achieved. That's a lot, right? So are you saying that that's what you used to do, Kristen? Because that's a lot, right? So I would break that shit down also. It seems like human beings like black and white because it provides comfort, like the Book of Job. I also think that it is about control. Control is comfort, right? Because that feels safe. when we can control situations, that feels safe. Some people control by taking over a situation. Some people take control by pulling back, by making themselves small. Let me know, Tara, if that made sense. Okay, got you. Okay. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you for being here. I love the engagement. It's awesome. I love answering the questions. I think I'm caught up. If I missed something, just throw it back in the chat, y'all. How does fear of abandonment distort someone's sense of responsibility? This is huge. And this kind of falls into what we were just talking about, is that we will either take responsibility or undertake responsibility for the sense of the fear of abandonment. One is fear of abandonment from people. Two is fear of abandonment from self, right? Some people don't want to lose connection because that's how they've stayed safe. And some people don't want to lose autonomy because that's how they stayed safe. So that fear can distort on both sides. And what that can do is make us take responsibility for what is not ours. And then it could also make us not take responsibility at all. I love how you said there are so many steps from A to B in getting out of the house. Abso-freaking-lutely. Absolutely. And I am all about baby steps. I abandon myself all the time with going back into my phone because it's a distraction. Well, let's slow down, right? So Kristen, that abandon myself all the time going back to my phone, you know what that screams to me is you're trying to look for regulation. The phone is not just a distraction. You're trying to regulate your nervous system, right? So let's try to we talk so much bad about ourselves, right? So much shame. And a lot of these conversations, taking the shame out of what we're doing because it makes so much sense, and starting there. So it seems like we're chasing safety. Why should we give up our adaptations if they keep us safe? Oh, beautiful question. I love this. I'm going to skip back up to your comment, Tara, or question. So it seems like we're chasing safety. One, absolutely. That is what we're doing. Everyone everywhere is trying to stay safe. That just looks really different from person to person because, again, some people stayed safe by getting big and loud. Some people stayed safe by making themselves really small. Some people stayed safe by lying. Some people stayed safe by grasping at any connection possible. Why should we give up our adaptations? I never said that. We talk a lot about it here. It's not about giving up and abandoning those parts of ourselves. It's knowing why we're doing it and what we want to do. Okay, so doom scrolling is not terrible. Shopping isn't terrible. None of our adaptations can really be most of our adaptations are not terrible in themselves. Okay, but here's the thing: is what are we distracting from? And this is where we get derailed. It's not about the adaptation. If we can slow the fuck down, it's about what is happening to us, what's happening in my body right now. Why do I want to choose an adaptation? Why do I want to scroll? What am I trying to avoid? What's the sensation in my body that I'm having right now? So that first is getting curious. The biggest part of this journey is getting curious, slowing down and getting curious, right? We want to go from A, we have an adaptation, B, the adaptation is bad, we need to get rid of it. What is happening in between? We talked about the pause. Okay. We talk about the sacred middle. All of these things is we're talking about the middle. We're talking about the gap between A and B. Okay. Why do we choose adaptations? What's happening to us in the time that we get triggered and we go to an adaptation? That's the abandonment, right? I think Kristen was saying that she abandoned herself when she goes to your phone. That's not the abandonment part. The abandonment is leaving ourselves out of this space. The phone isn't the abandonment. It's that we haven't slowed down long enough to figure out what the fuck is actually going on with us. And for some people, it's because it isn't safe. If you have had extreme, trauma or SA where it's not safe to be in your body, we go a different route. Okay. So knowing this is your journey, your pace, and finding what works for you, right? And finding somebody that's going to help you find what works for you. Tara said, can accountability exist without empathy? Or does empathy have to develop first? I think that you can be accountable, right? Because even if you don't have empathy for the other person and how it affected them, if you hear like, damn, that tone was pretty harsh, or I came at them strong, or I said something maybe that doesn't feel right for me, then you can take accountability for that, right? I think empathy comes into the impact that we have on other people as well. Thank you. We're all trying to regulate. Welcome to the club. And it's not, what I want to say is, it's not about staying regulated. It's not about getting it perfect, you guys. Here we say perfect because it's not about getting it perfect. It's not about staying regulated. It's not about that. It's about knowing how to return to yourself, not abandon yourself in those moments. That's what it's about. Because we're always going to spiral from time to time. We're going to say things that we don't want. We're going to get dysregulated because we're humans and we live in this life. Okay, so let's just take that unrealistic expectation off the table. I try to, who decides when accountability is sufficient, the offender or the harmed? Well, accountability, I think, is different than repair. I think that they go hand in hand, and we need accountability in order to repair. And so it sounds like this is a situation where we're trying to repair something, right? We're trying to repair a connection. So in that, say, example. So my husband had an affair, and we've been working through it, right? But he doesn't get to tell me when that is healed for me. And if something comes up and I bring it up, then he still takes accountability. But he doesn't get to decide when trust is rebuilt or when it's repaired, right? Does that make sense? So it is a slow process oftentimes for repair because trust is broken, and you're rebuilding trust through consistency and evidence. And so the more evidence that you have that is the new way, or that what you're saying is now true, and that I can see that accountability again and again, then that begins to repair. And so I would say that both people get to decide, right? Because it's affecting both people. Some people are like, this is too much for me, and I just can't do this for this long. And that's a real conversation, right? Like, even my husband was like, I don't know if I could keep doing this. This is a lot, because the overload of shame and guilt is a lot to hold. And knowing that he hurt somebody that he loves, it's a lot to hold. And so for both people have to decide when it's enough, if you're working to that repair. Does that answer your question? Does he take accountability though, or is that reassurance? Well, I think that it's two things, right? The accountability is, I fucked up and I hurt you. The reassurance is that it makes so much sense that you would still feel that way, right? So for me, that's the difference, is I think both need to exist. I try to set a goal, or if I get a message from someone, I will try not to look at my phone for a good 45 minutes. I like timers, Kristen, because I work on 15-minute increments. I have this everywhere because that's how my brain works. I can do anything for 15 minutes. If I go longer than 15 minutes, I lose it. Okay, so again, learning how you work, you create a system that works for you, but we keep trying to fit into a system that was created not for us. Find something that works for you. If 45 minutes isn't working, try 5. And when you build evidence that you can do something, and if you keep going that 5 minutes, then your brain's going to say, oh, I can do this even for 5 minutes. And then when 5 minutes is easy, repeatable, and you could do that and over, then you can bump it up to 10. But we skip. We go from 0 to 45, which is so hard. The Real Nick, what's up? Yeah, I curse here. Thank you guys for the support. I appreciate you. It was a real example, yes. We talk about it. Yeah, I'm really open because it's something that I think that a lot of people go through, emotional and physical affairs and things like that. I've talked about it a lot on my page, and it's way more common than people talk about, and what to do in that. Thank you guys. Did I miss one? Let's see. I need a timer not on my phone. Yep. It's just as simple as that, right? Amazon, I think a pack of these was like, I don't know, $15. I have them everywhere, okay? Because this works for me. It's loud, it interrupts, and I find what works for you. I do love my timers. I may be slightly addicted to them. Because when you find something that works for you, it's so awesome. It's so awesome when you find something that works for you. I need you to be my coach fully. You get the safety part of it. And I got you, girl. I work one-on-one. I have a free 30-minute connection call. You can go to my Linktree and we can chat for 30 minutes and see if it resonates with you. For free. You don't have to pay for that. I mean, it does cost you your time, but yeah, that's there. And also, Kristen, we have the Sacred Middle, which is a small all women's group coaching right after this every Monday. Every Monday, 5 p.m. Pacific, and it's on Zoom. And so if you just want to check it out, that's $20 a seat. You can come. Like I said, it's a small women's group every Monday. I know it will. How do you charge for your services? So I'm pretty upfront about that. I have the Sacred Middle, which is, like I said, the small women's group. And those are every Monday for 2 hours. So you get basically, almost one-on-one coaching, but there's some other women there, right? But we get to dive deep into that, about the topic. Let me be clear about that. Every week it's about the topic and how it pertains to us and like that. Video calls make me nervous. We can chat on the phone for your 30-minute connection call. Do you, boo-boo? Whatever feels right. Yep, thank you for pointing that out, Mom. In the sacred middle, you don't have to show your face or anything like that. And for one-on-one, I do have sessions that you can just do one. But what I really love doing is walking alongside women. So my 3-month container, and that is text message support. So you get for the first month, you get 4 sessions, so 1 every week, and then for the next 2 months, it's 2 every other week. But then what I really love about that container is you get text message support. So Monday through Friday, 10 to 4, you can message me whenever, but those are just when I respond back. You can message that container whenever the fuck you want. You could message it in the middle of the night and be like, I hate it here, or you know what I mean? And then I'll respond back to you. Because what it is about having somebody in your day-to-day life when real life is happening, not just in the sessions, because life doesn't just happen in the sessions. And if you have a session once every month, how much trust are you building? How much safety are you getting and creating to be able to make the change that you want? What's my day job? So I am a coach. Heather, welcome in. That is what I do. I also work at the Energetic Health Institute, which is where I got my holistic nutrition from. And I do editing there. And I am the social media coordinator for that as well. Also, I'm a mom. I homeschool. I have a 13-year-old. I have a 23-year-old, a grandbaby. I am a wife. I work from home. So those are all my day jobs. Thanks, Real Nick. Yes. Let's see. Did I miss anything? Let me know if I missed something, y'all. How did you come into this work, and how long ago did you start along the healing path? Oh, I love the questions. Thank you. So, how did I come into this work? You guys can check out my website. Some of my story is also on there. My website is on, it should be in my link tree. And so this part always makes me emotional. Every damn time. So the emotionally focused therapy portion, my daughter didn't want to be here anymore. And my counselor, who's still my counselor today, she looked at me and said, if you want to help your daughter, you will sit in this chair, not her. There's nothing wrong with her. You just don't know how to reach her. It was the most humbling thing that somebody had said to me. And my brother is a Marine and went through a lot of mental health issues. And so those two things combined, because I almost lost them both, those two things combined made me change the direct trajectory of what my purpose was in this life. And that is for connection. Nothing else mattered. Whew. So that's how I got in the emotionally focused therapy portion. The holistic nutrition portion, which they come together so beautifully, because everything is connected. Shout out to Hunter wherever he is that my son was sick. And I had started doing a lot of research, and the Western medicine doctors couldn't give me answers. So I started going the Eastern route and came upon Energetic Health Institute and learned about a lot of things about how the body works. And so I learned about a delayed food allergy test and what foods are good for him. And we don't talk about that. And so that really took me down that path. And then just the combination of what my family had been through, what I had been through, and just meshing them together is how I became a therapeutic nutritionist, emotionally focused therapy and holistic nutrition. And I started learning about healing probably 10 years ago and just never looked back and then tried to get everybody possible on the path with me. Have you ever thought about providing services on Fiverr? I had just recently heard about that. So no, not really. Oh, I gotta do a puzzle. Hold on. You're good. You go. Oh, thank you. Gemma! No, I'm good. I was telling my story. I love it. Wish my parents would have the same thing. I feel like lots of kids' issues are because parents never dealt with theirs and just passed it on unknowingly. 1,000%. 1,000%, right? Because they didn't know what they didn't know. And it's hard. It is a hard pill to swallow that we hurt people that we love, right? And this is where intention and impact are different, because most of us never intended to hurt our kids, but we did. And that is the impact that to hold space for. And that's really hard to do because we were never taught how to do that. Thanks, Nick. And they can't begin to understand they did wrong. Right. And here's the thing, is because shame sucks when we feel shame, right? And nobody wants to feel shame. Nobody wants to feel guilt. So we avoid it at all costs. And so I need you to be okay so that I can be okay, right? And I feel like we're learning more now, but we were not taught how to hold space for other people's feelings. It always had to be black or white. It had to be you're right or wrong. There was never, I don't have to change me to hold space for you. Because again, this is why I talk so much about emotional regulation and nervous system coaching, is because when we do that, right, when our parents did that, they were trying to regulate their nervous system because they didn't know how. So how could they help us regulate our nervous system if they had no clue how to do their own? Okay, so that's why we talk about nervous system regulation. This is why I talk about the polyvagal, which has been blowing up. This is why we talk about somatics, all of this, because it all matters and makes sense and is connected. And really, if we can understand the root of what is going on, that's what I love talking about, is the root. What's underneath that? What's underneath that? What's underneath that? Is trying to be fucking safe, right? Generational trauma is easily broken once you have awareness. I think that I don't know that it's easy. It's definitely not comfortable, but it is possible. I do believe it is possible. I don't think it's easy though. I think it can be doable. I don't think it's easy though. By any stretch. Can you take us through when it hit you that you might have done something wrong? Yeah. When that counselor was like, there's nothing wrong with your daughter. And now, so just a quick, I have like 5 minutes and then we're hopping over, and I'll be back next week. We are talking about pushing our body emotionally, pushing through in conversations, all of that. That's what we're talking about next week. So when that counselor was like, there's nothing wrong with you. So really quick, I felt like I was a good mom. I did all the things that I thought I was supposed to do, right? And my ex-husband was not what I thought he should be, and didn't feel like he gave our daughter what I thought he should. And so I said a lot of it was him. I went to counselor couldn't figure out how to get her the help that she needed until I got to this lady, and she said, there's nothing wrong with your daughter. You just don't know how to reach her. And if you want to help your daughter, you're going to sit in this chair. And that's when I learned about overcompensating. I learned about my childhood wounds. I learned about emotional stealing, about my triggers, about what was happening to me and my core wounds and why I did the things that I did. And all of this, that's when it just started to come up. And I was like, oh, fuck. Got you. So there's a lot I need to do. I hear you. And that was super humbling. And specifically, what you think you did wrong and how to fix it. What I think I did wrong was, is there wrong? Because I didn't know, right? But where I missed the mark with my daughter is that I was parenting from my wounds, not parenting for her needs. Say that again. I was parenting her out of my wounds, not out of her needs. That's where I missed the mark. I love that for you, that it's easy. And, some things are easier and some, so major kudos. Psh, you got this. I love that. Is each Zoom meeting a theme? Yeah, it's the same theme every month, or whatever the Monday topic here on TikTok is the same theme that we have in the Sacred Middle. So tonight, in 5 minutes, we're going to be talking about accountability and responsibility on a deeper level in that container. Getting into awareness is the hard part. That is hard. Next week, we are talking about, I'm pretty sure it's pushing through. And so just so you guys know, if you ever want to go to my page, the week prior to Monday are all the videos about the upcoming topic. Just so you guys know, because your For You page probably won't push it out the same way, right? You'll see scattered. If you ever want to go to my page each week, so starting tomorrow, will be all the videos for next week's topic. And when we're talking about pushing through, emotionally, physically, all of that, it's not just one way that we push through. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, most parents parent out of their fear and trauma. If you have blinders on, then you're not in the awareness. Yeah, but also sometimes we can get caught up. We don't see things, right? Even me. This is why I love having people around me and coaches and people that I trust, because I would say I'm a really aware person, but there's sometimes I miss things, right? Because I got my own shit. I think that's why it's so hard for them to understand. It's such a nuanced point. But it's, I think it's everything. I'm not really sure, Gemma, which part you were talking about. I might have missed something. I'm not sure. Does anybody have any more questions before we close up and we head over to the Sacred Middle? Welcome in. Hi, Jess. I logged in today. I did it. It didn't save my progress, but I'm like, it's okay. Maybe the universe is like, but you need to start over. Oh, awesome, Kristen. You can't get into Zoom yet because I'm not there. So as soon as we hop off here, then you will be able to get in. I love that. Awesome. Yes. Would you ever go back to the way you were before? And is it more painful now or before? Okay. I love the questions. First of all, thank you. I could not ever go back. Sometimes do I want to? Absolutely, because this is a lot of work, okay? I wish I could just go back to being blind and unaware. Do I really? No, but do sometimes, yeah, I want to, okay? They were both painful in different ways. There, I was stuck in pain and I was abandoning myself. This pain is uncomfortable. That pain actually kept me in a lot of unsafe situations where this uncomfortability brings me to who I want to be and the life that I want to have. So even though it is uncomfortable and painful sometimes, it's worth it for me. Thanks for being here, y'all. I appreciate you. Okay, I gotta go. I'll see you guys next week. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for the engagement. I truly, truly appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. I really appreciate you guys being here. It makes the conversation so much richer. And when people ask questions, probably 7 other people are having the same questions. Oh, hi, Miss Susie. Sierra. All right, guys. Next week, we're talking about pushing through. And remember, fuck perfect. And I'll see you guys next week. All right. Bye.